Welcome back to Central Valley Talk. This show is called Artists and Authors. By the way, we have shows all day long. We have a business show, we have a home improvement show, a real estate show. Keep tuned in. You're going to see all kinds of different shows come on this network throughout the day. This show is hosted by Carol Love Forbes. She's an author, an artist, a Broadway star, but she's out today. So I'm the host, which I love it because I love the arts and love to talk to people about their art. By the way, there's no art hop these days, so let us be your art hop. If you're an artist, come on this show and let's show off your art. Let's keep the art alive through this COVID. Don't let COVID beat us. We're going to beat COVID through art. We have a fascinating guest today, Samantha D'Alessio. I got it right, didn't I?
You did.
We only rehearsed it 100 times. D'Alessio. Now, you're an artist.
I am.
And what would you call your medium? Do you have one medium or a whole bunch of mediums?
So I prefer to work with oil paints.
Okay.
Most recently with the Mural at Woodward Park in the Art of Life Healing Garden, I used exterior acrylic paints, so it would withstand the elements. So if I'm working for an inside project, I'm going to choose oils preferably, but outside
Now,
it's all about
I want to talk to you in a
longevity.
minute about this mural in the, what do you call the garden out there?
The Art of Life Healing Garden.
Art of Life Healing Garden. But first, I'd like to talk about details. Now, acrylic, you mix that with water, oil?
So acrylic paint is based off of plastic. So it dries a lot quicker and it's a bit harder to mix with paints once you get it on the surface, just because it does dry so quickly. When you're using oil paints, it can take up to years depending on how much white you use in your paintings. So that being said, you could continue mixing colors for as long as you needed to, truly.
On the oils.
Yes.
So acrylic, does it come solid and you make it liquid?
No, well,
I need to
I'm
take
not
an
sure.
art class or something because I'm always fascinated by this acrylic thing, but I'm not familiar with it.
Acrylic, it tends to come in either tubes or cans.
Okay.
But if it has been sitting out for too long, it will create a plastic film on the very top. Typically underneath, you can just peel the film off and there's fresh paint underneath it. But unless you keep it seriously exposed, it's not going to be a solid for a while.
So the mural, is this a mural we're seeing behind you there?
Yes.
You see it on our screen? Now, is that acrylic?
Yes, that is going to be the acrylic exterior paint, and there is a
You
latex
use it
primer.
outside. It
Yes.
handles outside well, pretty well. So now this, I've only seen it in pictures. So how big is it?
So it's 8 feet tall by 16 feet wide.
Yeah.
All four sides are painted and primed with the colorful stripes behind it. The side, I believe, facing the south has the Art of Life logo on it, and then the front-facing side, which is what is pictured here, has all the faces, because that's the most viewable side once you're in the park.
Now, did you make like a mock-up or a sample of this before you made it that big?
Very briefly, I did a small little sketch. The project actually came to me through a mutual friend who was meeting with the Art of Life board. And I asked if the kind of style which I had drawn was something they'd be thinking about, just kind of getting into their mindset. They do a lot of abstract projects. Without me knowing, she actually sent it to them. They loved it.
Wow.
That was the only sketch I had, so I told them, I made a quick mock-up using Adobe and sent it over to them and said it's not going to look exactly like that unless you want me to use a grid method. They said just go for it, so this is what came out.
You're the artist.
Yes.
They trusted you and said go for it. It turned out absolutely beautiful. Our bookers, I said, go find interesting people who are doing interesting things. And they said, we've got to get Samantha on our show. Now, you have some other art out there, I would imagine.
I do. So at Fresno State, I'm a women's studies major, but I'm an art minor. That is what I hope to do with the rest of my
Wow,
life.
look at that.
So on screen now, that's a master copy project I did of a Frederick Bazille painting.
Okay.
Really, that was done in oil. That is a 3 foot by 4 foot painting. It is one of my favorite paintings that I've
So now,
completed.
when they give you the assignment, do you try to make it exactly like an original, or
Yes.
as much as you
So
can?
that was the purpose of the assignment, to get you just to really get into the head of the artist, figure out what their techniques were, how they balanced the light and the colors. That was the purpose of the
You don't just
project.
copy it, you study the artist.
Yes.
Find out everything you can about their motivation and
Yeah. So
technique
it was
and style.
It was an incredible project, and that's exactly what we needed to do. It's technically not finished. One of my favorite things about it, though, is that the original artist made a mistake in the foreshortening of her arm. So really, her arm and her hand should have been much larger, but because in the original painting it was not scaled correctly, that's what I had to do as well. But yeah, it it was an incredible project. The skirt isn't quite done, just due to time constraints on the project, but I still love it.
Any of them ever really done? I mean,
That's the thing. If you ask me, no,
Yeah.
not with my art. I could always continually
Do a
fix
little
it.
more.
And I think that's pretty common with a lot of artists. But at some point, you just have to tell yourself you're satisfied with it and you're happy with how it looks, even if you still see flaws.
yeah, just got to go for it. And I was a music teacher. I always tell my students, don't tell people you made a mistake. Just act like that's part of it, right? So, now, where will you? Have you had art shows?
So I've not been in an official art gallery or an art show. Unfortunately, Art Hop, like you said, for the last year has been more or less postponed. But I have been entering the Fresno Fair junior art exhibit for as long as I can remember. And that's really where I think that's what motivated me really to keep practicing, was just because I knew it was coming up. But I do hope to become part of the adult exhibit and also some of our local galleries as well someday.
Now, yeah, Art Hop would be a good opportunity for you right now in your career. Just a lot to get it out there a lot, and also go and visit and look at other
Right.
people's art and get communication going with other people. That would be great, but it's stopped.
It has, unfortunately. My godfather used to do Art Hop here, actually, in the Tower District. And I would have loved to have been in a show with him this year. So hopefully 2022 will show some goodwill for us, and we can do that.
Now, this is a great opportunity for a lot of artists, musicians to be composing, artists making art. But I find a lot of them just aren't doing it. Maybe the motivation, or something isn't there because of COVID. But COVID, we're all shut down. We have hours of free time.
Right. Yeah, I found myself struggling with the same thing. And just from a personal level, it is really difficult when you're stressed out to kind of tap into that creative side and to find the motivation to do it. The mural itself took about 40 hours, which is what I would say is about the same amount of time I did for the 3-foot by 4-foot painting of the Frederick Brazil master copy. It takes a lot of dedication, a lot of time, a lot of patience. And if you're not in the right mindset, whether that just be exhaustion or stress,
Yeah.
it is really hard to break into. So I was relieved when the mural
Turn it
opportunity
on,
came to
turn it
me.
off, huh? Now, we're seeing all kinds of fascinating photos. Is this your Instagram?
Yes.
Okay.
So this is my Instagram account that I have specifically dedicated for my art. I didn't have one before, but once I finished the mural, I figured it might be easier for people to contact me that way.
I think
So
that's
you
how
will
we
be able
found
to
you.
see.
On Instagram, I think that's how we found
Yes.
you. Yeah. Now, tell us your Instagram address. It's on the screen, but it's the @ sign. Do you have to put the @ sign?
So when you're on Instagram, you don't necessarily have to, but that's just kind of how you write it out. So it's sda.designs with an underscore.
It's your name.
Yes.
Samantha
D'Alessio.
D'Alessio, SDA .designs. Now, believe it or not, there's some people that don't know how to use Instagram. Can you believe that?
You
We're
know
just
what?
learning Facebook, and now everybody switches to Instagram.
I do have a Facebook as well. There are pictures there. Samantha D'Alessio is not a totally common name in Fresno, so you're likely to find me. Even if you just searched my name on Instagram as well, Samantha.D'Alessio is my original Instagram account. So one way or another, you would be able to contact me.
They'll find you, yeah. And if they want to get a hold of you to commission some art or something, they can do that?
Yes, of course. And whether that's going to be through Instagram, my email, or my phone number, I'm really comfortable with anything. As long as I can get a hold of you and figure out what you're looking for, that I'd be more than happy to.
Well, one thing we know for sure, one piece of art of yours we can see is at the garden.
Yes.
And tell us exactly where to find that.
So that's going to be on the Friant entrance
Okay.
at Woodward Park, and you're going to be able to see it from the second you pull in, really, before you even get to the toll stop.
Okay, and you'll see a big piece of art. And it's in the Art of Life Healing Garden at Woodward Park. Right now I went to Roding the other day in the zoo. Woodward would be perfect. You guys cooped up in your house, and you got to get out. Out to Woodward. It's open, I think. Woodward is
It
now.
is, yes.
Yeah. And they've opened it up. Go there, walk around the park. It's safe. You're distanced from people, and you can see Samantha's art. And is there a name of the piece?
Actually, I never put a name for it. It was really a community piece.
Okay.
The Art of Life is a cancer foundation, and their purpose is to help both cancer patients and families and survivors have a sense of community while they're going through that journey. So I really just wanted to leave it to be as accessible as possible and not necessarily
Doesn't need a name or anything.
put a title or anything fancy
We'll
to
call
it.
it that big old mural. Beautiful, beautiful mural out there at the Art of Life Healing Garden Woodward. Thanks for coming on, Samantha. I'm glad we got to meet you. We want you to come back again and again.
Of course.
And especially when this town opens up and starts showing off art again. But if you have art to show off or you know somebody who should be showing off their art, this is the place for now. This is what we have. So
Yes.
thank you, Samantha, for coming. And we'll be back with more Central Valley Talk right after this.
All right. Thank you.